The Erechtheum, or Temple of Athena Polias, is a temple on the northern side of the Acropolis, rich in mythological references. Although modern scholarship calls the building the Erechtheum, it will surprise the reader that there are only two references to this building as the Erechtheum in all of antiquity. Pausanias, a Greek geographer from the 2nd century CE, is known to have simply stated, "There is also a building called the Erechtheum." Since Pausanias' work was hugely influential to early modern archaeologists, the name has stuck, and we will continue to refer to it as such. I know, it's very surprising to learn that this building was not referred to as the Erechtheum, and it speaks to how much more archaeology has to uncover. In today's talk, we will discuss the mythology of Athena, Poseidon, Erechtheus, Ericthonius, and Cecrops, and their relationship to the Erechtheum as well as to one another. These 5 mythological beings form the fundamental underpinnings of ancient Athenian identity. There's a lot of mythology here with a lot of unfamiliar names, so please do rewind the video if necessary, or pause it to more closely study diagrams and maps. The actual building is relatively new, having been built following the destruction of the Acropolis by the Persians in 480 BCE. The original temple of Athena used to rest in the empty area just south of the Erechtheum before its destruction by the Persians under King Xerxes I. Despite the fact that the original temple of Athena was destroyed, the area was still considered holy. So when a new temple to honor Athena and house the cultic statue of Athena Polias was started, it was built north of this area where the present Erechtheum is. When you visit, you'll see the topography where the Erechtheum rests has quite a downward slope, which undoubtedly led to the wonderful asymmetry of the Erechtheum, which I find particularly interesting. As noted previously, the Erechtheum housed the main cultic statue of Athena Polias. However, the actual name of the building does not suggest any association with the goddess Athena. The name of this building likely stems from a mythological king called Erechtheus, who is described as being a divine chthonic being. In other words, he was born directly out of the earth. He is described as living in the temple of Athena and worshipped as a divinity. In fact, the 2 major cults worshipped within the building were Athena Polias and Poseidon Erechtheus, which he lends his name to. Did you find this story kind of boring? Well, so did the Athenians, and starting in the 5th century BCE, they completely reinvented the origin story of the previous figure of Erechtheus in one of the earliest examples of rewriting history. In the new origin story, the divine chthonic being that was born from the earth is now called Ericthonius, and not Erechtheus. Erechtheus is still around, but now he is demoted to having normal human parents and not divinely born from the earth. The new divine chthonic being, now called Ericthonius, is given an exciting and lurid origin story. The goddess Athena decides to visit the smithing god Hephaestus one day in order to have some weaponry made. Overcome by lust, Hephaestus attempts to rape Athena but is fought off. Athena wipes away some semen that landed on her thigh with a wool cloth, which she throws upon the ground. Upon hitting the ground, the semen mixes with the earth mother goddess Gaia and gives birth to the serpent-like child Ericthonius. Athena continues to look over Ericthonius, thereby illustrating the close mythological relationship between Athenians and the goddess Athena. Ericthonius eventually becomes king of Athens and is attributed with a number of accomplishments during his reign. The explanation as to why Poseidon Erechtheus was also worshipped in tandem with Athena at the Erechtheum rests in another origin story of Athens. The story is centered around the Athenian king Cecrops, who ruled prior to Ericthonius, whom we were discussing earlier. At that time, the city that King Cecrops ruled was named after him, Cecropia, and not Athens. The city of Cecropia had not yet officially received the protection of a god. Both Poseidon and Athena vied for this honor. Both gods attempted to provide gifts for the people. Poseidon is said to have struck his trident upon the earth, where a saltwater spring ushered forth, while Athena conjured the growth of an olive tree from the ground. Cecrops, seeing the value of the olive tree as a source of olives and olive oil over salt harvested from the salt spring, chose Athena. With that, the city became known as Athens. Despite the choice of Athena over Poseidon, the Erechtheum held areas of worship for both Athena Polius and Poseidon Erechtheus. When we visit the Erechtheum, we see elements relevant to both Athena and Poseidon. The sacred olive tree gifted by Athena, obviously a modern replanting, is present along the walls of the temple. Also, the prominent cella, where the cult image of Athena Polius would have been held, is now exposed for the tourist to view. The Erechtheum has a very complicated layout compared to other Greek temples. However, this excellent map illustrates a number of key locations. The altars to Athena Polius and Poseidon Erechtheus, whom we have noted are the two primary cults in the temple, are immediately apparent. The olive tree noted on the map is consistent with the cult of Athena Polius that we talked about previously. For Poseidon Erechtheus, we see an area called the Sea of Erechtheus, which represents the salt water that flowed from the ground when Poseidon created the salt spring. On the north porch is an aperture in the roof, coinciding with a gap in its floor where a natural crevice exists, presumably reflecting the exact spot that Poseidon struck his trident to usher forth the fabled salt spring. Probably the most notable architectural feature of the Erechtheum are the Caryatids, which are female figures used as supporting columns for the entablature of the south porch. Although the arms are missing, we know from Roman sources that they held shallow bowls used for libations. As the south porch of the Caryatids was said to have been built over the burial site of Cecrops, the fabled king that chose Athena over Poseidon, it has been proposed that the Caryatids are pouring libations on the ground in honor of this king. The Erechtheum is where history and mythology merge in a way unmatched by any other structure on the Acropolis. Although people gravitate to the larger Parthenon and presume that the greatest religious ceremonies took place there, this would be incorrect. The heart of spiritual Athens during its golden age rested at the Erechtheum, and one should take some time exploring the area and reflecting on the mythological significance of this structure. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my other videos on ancient Athens.